The 2022 MLB Draft has finished, and the first round had a ton of surprises in it. So as I do every single year, I'm going to go ahead and rank all the first round picks 1 to 30 and tell you which one's the best and which one's the 30th best, because let's be honest, there's no bad picks in the first round. Big shout out to everybody in the scout and draft community for throwing videos on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. I left credit to all of them in the bottom right hand corner of each clip that I use, so make sure you go check them out and show them some love as well. If you do enjoy this video, it does help me out by dropping a like. It lets me know you like the MLB Draft content, because trust me, I got grades, I got sleeper picks, I've got more content coming at you as long as you want it. And if you do want it, click that subscribe button so you don't miss out when it does drop. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc, links in description. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. If you don't know what SeatGeek is, it's a ticketing app that makes buying tickets super simple. I've got the app on my phone, and I'm going to show you in real time how easy it is to buy tickets with SeatGeek. So I open up the app. I'm literally searching it right now, and watch. I want Mets tickets when they play the Yankees in a couple weeks. So I'm going to search the New York Mets. Click the Mets name, you go ahead, go to the game, they're playing the Yankees at Citi Field July 26th, and then I start looking for the best deals. When you see the deal score is green, that means it's an amazing deal. You should buy that ticket. And then when you see tickets are maybe red or orange, that means not a great deal. Maybe avoid those. And even if you want, you can just search by the lowest price. Like you want to buy these tickets at $5.20 for the Subway Series, go ahead, do it. Whether it's baseball games, concerts, football games, festivals, SeatGeek puts tickets from all over the web in one place that makes buying tickets as simple as possible for you. So don't worry, I've got the hookup for you guys. Use code GIRAFFE for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code GIRAFFE. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Getting us started at the number 30 spot, I have first round pick by the Milwaukee Brewers, Eric Brown Jr., shortstop out of Coastal Carolina. The Brewers selected Brown 27th overall in the first round of the 2022 MLB Draft, and he apparently has one of the smartest baseball IQs in the entire draft. He has a solid glove, can play anywhere in the field, and he projects to maybe hit about 15 to 20 home runs per season. While his swing is a little bit flat right now, Eric Brown has the projectable size and skills to be able to be a very solid shortstop in the future for the Brewers, or at worst, anywhere in the infield. Next up at the number 29 spot, I have the first round pick by the Tampa Bay Rays at the number 29 spot, Xavier Isaac, first baseman out of East Forsyth High School in North Carolina. Isaac has some of the best raw power in the entire draft, getting a raw power grade of 80, which is shocking. The dude is an absolute tank. He's 6'4" and has some serious strength behind him. He has crazy high exit velos, especially for a high schooler, and he has a sweet left-handed swing. What's interesting to see is whether or not he'll have the athleticism to reach out outside of first base, because as of right now, it does look like he's a little bit of a first base DH in the future, but the Rays took him, so you know this guy's going to be a beast, and he hits the ball hard. For the 28th best player selected in the first round, I have first round pick by the Seattle Mariners, Cole Young, shortstop out of North Allegheny High School in Pennsylvania. Cole Young is honestly just like a good player. He's a bit boring, but in a good way. He's pretty good at everything that he does. He has great bat to ball skills, has a little bit of pop in that bat, a quick, short, compact swing, and he's got great mechanics and great fundamentals. He's been getting comped to Adam Frazier, who is a rarely competent major league player. While not one of my favorites, he's still pretty good, and I think Cole Young does have similar abilities with maybe a little bit more pop in that bat. For the 27th best player, I went with shortstop out of Orange Lutheran High School in California, Boston Red Sox first round pick, Mikey Romero. Mikey Romero was a guy that maybe could have stuck into the first round, and he did with the Red Sox. He has a nice and easy left-handed swing, and personally, I think he might be able to hit for some more pop down the line. He's not that small, he's just smaller in weight, but I'm sure in a pro setting, he's going to put on some muscle. What I like about his left-handed swing is that currently he hits the ball to all fields. He uses his legs really well, and he does have a great compact swing, and apparently his glove should stick at shortstop, a very solid glove. Next up, coming in at number 26, I have Philadelphia Phillies first round pick at the number 17 spot, Justin Crawford, outfielder of Bishop Gorman High School in Nevada. You hear the name Crawford, and you think Carl Crawford, and you'd be right, this is his son. He's an absolutely sick athlete. He runs like a gazelle, he's crazy fast, he's lanky, he's tall, and his size is super exciting. He just hasn't put it all together yet. The swing is a little bit tight, and he does chop down on the ball quite a bit, but the crazy ceiling that Justin Crawford has makes him worth all the risk in the first round. Justin Crawford has the chance to be one of the best picks in this entire draft. Getting the top 25 started at the number 25 spot, I have first round pick by the Atlanta Braves, Owen Murphy, two-way player, mostly pitcher though, out of Riverside Brookfield High School in Illinois. Owen Murphy, another guy that wasn't necessarily mocked by a lot of people to go in the first round, but what's really interesting about him, like I said, is that he's a two-way player. Seems like he'll be a pitcher most likely, as he throws into the low mid-90s right now with great command, good curveball, good slider, and a changeup, so 4 solid pitches. I'm sure the Braves will give him an opportunity to swing it because he was announced as a two-way player, but realistically, it feels like he'll just end up being a pitcher. For the 24th ranked player in the first round of the draft, I went with Houston Astros first round pick out of the University of Tennessee, Tennessee, outfielder Drew Gilbert. Drew Gilbert, I'm going to use this a couple times in this video. He's got that dog in him. He's very cocky, and I appreciate it in a good way. I think it's what makes him great. He's a small center fielder, but he makes up for it big time. He has crazy high exit velos, absolutely crushes the ball, and he doesn't swing and miss. Knowing the Houston Astros and how they develop players, he'll probably just end up being a star center fielder for the foreseeable future. All his coaches love him. The dude works hard, and he's my 24th ranked player in the first round. At the number 23 spot, I go with last pick of the first round by the San Francisco Giants, Reggie Crawford, two-way player out of UConn. Reggie Crawford's really sick. What makes me a little bit more cautious on a guy like Reggie Crawford is just that he's been hurt for a bit and he hasn't thrown many innings, so there's still some development that's needed to be had. That being said, I trust the Giants. And he throws 100 on the mound from the left side. Devastating slider with that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Like I just said, he really just hasn't pitched much. And at the plate, the dude absolutely mashes. Has put up some solid numbers at UConn. Crazy high ceiling here because he's a good hitter too. For the 22nd best player in the draft, I had to move him down because of the team that drafted him. It's going to be Gabriel Hughes, pitcher out of Gonzaga, who was drafted by the Colorado Rockies. I actually had Hughes as one of my higher ranked pitchers in this entire draft, but because of the Colorado Rockies being the team that he falls to, it's just going to be really, really hard for Gabriel Hughes to develop in the way that I thought he could, given any other situation. Because on the mound, all this stuff is great. The dude throws absolute gas. He has a huge 6'4" frame. He's a strong guy, and he's got a wicked nasty slider that's going to be a big strikeout pitch with swing and miss potential. I really hope that they're able to figure it out with Gabriel Hughes, though, because I do think the talent is there. It's just unfortunately a really hard fit. Just outside the top 20, coming in as my 21st ranked player in the first round, I have Jet Williams, the second first round pick of the New York Mets, shortstop out of Rockwell Heath High School in Texas. I mentioned Drew Gilbert having that dog in him. Jet Williams also has that dog in him. He's a really small dude. I mean, we're talking smaller than me, but he's low key, or I should say high key ripped. The dude is a very, very strong athlete. He hits the ball really hard, especially for his size, and it makes people believe that he could be a potential 15 to 20 home run guy at the major league level. He doesn't swing and miss. He has great barrel rates and exceptional hand-eye coordination. After some shoulder issues, it's a little bit unsure if he'll stick at shortstop, but he's such a good athlete that they believe he'll be able to play second base or even center field in the future. Jet Williams is one of the favorites of everybody in this draft, and some people are giving him comparisons to Jose Altuve. Getting the top 20 started at the number 20 spot, I have Chicago Cubs first round pick CADE Horton, right-handed pitcher out of University of Oklahoma. CADE Horton flew up draft boards after having an impressive College World Series run with the Sooners. He has a quick arm action despite it not being short arm. He throws ched, I mean we're talking upper 90s, with a power slider, although sometimes it's a bit of a spinner and sometimes it does kind of mesh with his curveball a little bit. As I mentioned, his stock was greatly boosted because of a phenomenal College World Series run, and it gives you a glimpse of the potential that he possibly has. There's a lot of unknown with CADE Horton, but based off of what we saw in the College World Series, this guy could be an absolute stud. Coming in at number 19, I have the 26th pick in the first round by the Chicago White Sox, Noah Schultz, left-handed pitcher out of Oswego East High School in Illinois. Noah Schultz is so cool. He's like 6'9". He has a very similar arm slot to Randy Johnson. I mean, the dude just could be the next Randy Johnson. Obviously, that's a lofty comp, but the size in the arm slot, they're uncanny. His fastball has some sick arm side run, and he does kind of sit in like those low to mid 90s right now. I imagine he's going to be able to throw harder. He's also got a really nice slider, but kind of only has 2 pitches. This reminds me a lot of when the White Sox took Garrett Crochet, a guy who kind of really only had 2 pitches, but had size, had strength, and had projectability, and that's what I see with Noah Schultz. I really like the future for this kid. At the number 18 spot, first round pick by the St. Louis Cardinals, Cooper Jerpy, left-handed pitcher out of Oregon State. Cooper Jerpy was one of the best pitchers in all of college baseball last year. His arm slot's kind of strange. He's like a weird little sidearm slinger, but he has crazy good swing and miss rates despite not throwing particularly hard. That being said, it's like low to mid 90s, so I mean it is kind of hard, but not like crazy hard. What makes him so hard to hit though is that he's very deceptive with fantastic command. His slider is a legitimate wipeout pitch, and his fastball is sneaky fast because apparently it has great VAA. So a guy like Cooper Jerpy going to a strong organization like the Cardinals, I think this was a great pick. For the 17th best player in the first round, let's talk about New York Yankees first round pick Spencer Jones, outfielder out of Vanderbilt. Massive human. Spencer Jones stands at 6'7", 225 pounds with a sweet left-handed swing. He hits the ball like so hard, it's crazy. He popped off at the combine. He had the hardest exit velos with the furthest home runs, and while his swing can get a little bit long and can be susceptible to swing and misses, he has a crazy strong bat, and he has great use of his lower half. I imagine this guy's gonna hit like 10,000 home runs in Yankee Stadium in the future. And not to mention, they've done pretty well with big outfielders in the past. Just outside the top 15, at number 16, I have first round pick by the Kansas City Royals, Gavin Cross, outfielder of Virginia Tech. Gavin Cross looks like a very solid hitter. A little bit of weird movement pre-pitch that makes him look a little bit unorthodox, but point of contact is super strong, and he uses his lower half extremely well. Now, one thing I've noticed is that he doesn't particularly lift the ball that well, but I think it makes up for it with how hard he does does hit the baseball. Not to mention, the dude just is a hustle machine. I know it doesn't really matter in terms of play, but the dude's a hard worker, which makes me believe that he's going to be able to improve massively through his development in the minor leagues. So Gavin Cross, I think, is going to be a really nice pick for the Royals, and I have him at number 16. Getting the top 15 started at the number 15 spot, first round pick by the Detroit Tigers, Jace Jung out of Texas Tech, second, third base. I don't really know where he's going to go. Jace Jung absolutely raked in college. He does have a little bit of a weird stance where he does keep his bat flat through the entire path. That being said, he shortens up big time with 2 strikes, and you see it with his numbers. He walks more than he strikes out, which is really awesome. He also started to heat up and play better as the college season went on. I'm interested to see what his power looks like without a metal bat, but really at the end of the day, his plate discipline's impeccable, and he's a really overall good hitter. The biggest question with Jace Jung comes down to where will he play in the field, but the bat should always play. For the 14th best player in the first round, let's talk about the team north of the border's first round pick, the Blue Jays, where they selected Brandon Barriera, left-handed pitcher out of American Heritage High School in Florida. Barriera is a really fun-looking pitcher. All around, good. Great changeup, good slider, and his fastball, while it sits in the mid-90s, it hit 99 this spring, which is kinda sick. Lively arm plus good control plus 3 pitches, I like Barriera a lot. Coming in as the 13th best player in the first round, who thought we were going to see this guy's name? Not a lot of people, but I do think he deserves this spot. I got Kumar Rocker, right-handed pitcher, going to the Texas Rangers. So obviously we know what happened with Kumar last year in the New York Mets. Didn't end up signing, and he ended up getting picked 3rd overall this year by the Rangers, which was a bit of a surprise. But you gotta say, in the 5 starts Kumar has made for the Tri-City Valley Cats, in 20 innings pitched, he struck out 32 batters with a whip at .75, an ERA at 1.35, and he's limiting walks, he's limiting hits, he's been absolutely dominant. I actually like this pick by the Rangers. I was high on Kumar last year. Why not take one of the best right-handed pitching arms in the draft for a guy who's probably going to go right to Double-A and be right next to his former teammate Jack Leiter? Good pick by the Rangers. Next up, at number 12, I have Los Angeles Angels first-round pick Zach Neto, shortstop out of Campbell University. Pumped to see Zach Neto go this high. Talked about him a lot this season on my college baseball podcast when that was still going on. The dude's an exceptional hitter and is a really good shortstop too. What's cool about Neto is that with less than 2 strikes, he takes a war hack. You thought Josh Donaldson, Justin Turner had big leg kicks? Check out Zach Neto's. It's even crazier. But that being said, with 2 strikes, he shortens up, still puts the ball in play, hits it hard, and he doesn't strike out. So he's a really good hitter with good discipline at the plate, some pop in that bat, and a solid shortstop along with amazing hand speed and bat speed. Roll humps. Let's go Zach Neto. And then just missing on the top 10, coming in at number 11 for me, is going to be Dylan Lesko, first round pick by the Padres, right-handed pitcher out of Buford, Georgia. So Lesko was kind of a consensus top 5 overall talent before he got Tommy John this year, so that was a bit of a setback. But he has a really strong fastball that flies out of his hands with ease, touching mid to high 90s. His slider gets a little bit slurvy at times, but he has a phenomenal changeup that pairs along with it, and that mid to high 90s fastball. His simple mechanics are easy to replicate. The dude is just overall a really good pitcher, and I love this pick by the Padres. I think Lesko is going to be awesome. Getting the top 10 started at the number 10 spot, I have Oakland A's first round pick, Daniel SUSAC, catcher out of Arizona. SUSAC ended up dropping to number 19 overall, but I do think that the A's got great value here. After watching SUSAC hit, you find out that this dude is just awesome. He absolutely rakes. He's huge. He's 6'4", and whether or not he stays at catcher, that's still up for question. I mean, I think he's solid enough back there, but maybe the A's think differently. And to be honest, when you swing like SUSAC does, it doesn't matter. The ball flies off of his bat, lots of power, fast hands, he rips through the zone. Should make you excited as an Oakland A's fan. For the 9th best player in the first round, I'm going to talk about Miami Marlins first round pick, Jacob Berry out of LSU. Jacob Berry is a man without a position, but it's okay because he absolutely rakes. He was one of the best hitters in college baseball the last 2 years, and he's a switch hitter. He has tons of power. It looks like he might be a little bit of a dead pull hitter from the left-hand side, but the power jumps off the page for you. And all around, he's a good hitter. The biggest question is just where does he play? He walks a ton. He doesn't particularly strike out that much. The Marlins will find a spot for a guy like Jacob Berry. He's too good of a hitter to really care about where he plays in the field, honestly. For the 8th best player selected in the first round, let's talk about Cleveland Guardians first round pick, Chase DeLauter, outfielder out of James Madison University. Chase DeLauter is someone that I was extremely high on, someone that I'm a huge fan of. He walks more than he strikes out, so you know he has a sick eye at the plate, and there is a ton of pop in his bat. The dude's an absolute tank. He's huge and strong. DeLauter comes in at 6'4", 235, and he runs really well. Now, he did drop a little bit because there were some injury concerns, didn't play a lot in the 2022 season, along with the fact that he went to James Madison University, so he played against weak competition. But the dude absolutely raked in the Cape Cod League with a wood bat against some of the best college players, so I'm not sure what the concern is. I love his swing. He jumps at the ball. I think he's got huge boom potential, and I love this pick by the Guardians. Coming in at the number 7 spot, I got Minnesota Twins first round pick Brooks Lee. Brooks Lee was considered to be one of the best all-around college players in college baseball this year. Solid shortstop with a pretty decent arm. He's a switch hitter, although at some times it's hard to tell which is his natural, which I guess is also a good thing. While his lower half can get a bit stiff at times, his bat-to-ball skills are some of the best in the entire draft, and he showed enough power in college to make people excited about what he could project for the future, because he does have decent size. Overall, really just good player for Brooks Lee, and great value for the Twins, getting him to fall all the way to the number 8 pick, when he was considered to maybe even be a chance for a number 1 overall selection. Just outside the top 5, coming in at number 6, I have New York Mets' first round pick, catcher out of Georgia Tech, Kevin Parada. Crazy he dropped this far. I couldn't believe it. I'm pumped as a Mets fan. He is simply just one of the best pure hitters in the entire draft and was one of the best pure hitters in college baseball. Now, his stance definitely is weird, but he hits like a normal person. Insane lower half, great bat speed, a phenomenal eye that he improved upon, so that shows that he has growth still to come, and he rakes to all fields. They expect him to be a middle-of-the-order guy who's going to hit for 25 to 30 home runs and for a good average, along with getting on base. Will he be a catcher in the future? Maybe not, but he's such a good athlete that they expect he'll be able to play left field with no problem. What you get excited about with Parada is that bat, and that bat is the truth. Getting the top 5 started at the number 5 spot, one of my favorite players, dropped quite a bit to the Cincinnati Reds, Cam Collier out of Chipola Junior College. Big, strong kid, and he's only 17 years old. He did really well as a JUCO 17-year-old against top JUCO competition. I mean, Chipola is a powerhouse in the JUCO ranks, and I love when a dude will graduate high school early to get to the college so that he could get drafted earlier. He just wants to play ball. He has a patient eye, has an awesome use of the lower half of his body, and the ball absolutely bounces off of his bat. Looks like it's hitting a trampoline. And on the defensive side, he's going to stick at third base. He has an absolute cannon. So I really like Cam Collier. Couldn't believe he dropped all the way to the Reds. He was one of my favorite prospects in the entire draft, and you can see it with my ranking of him being at number 5. Coming in at the number 4 spot, I have Washington Nationals first round pick Elijah Green out of IMG Academy in Florida. Elijah Green is just really fun to watch hit. He has an insanely strong lower half. His size is daunting for as young as he is coming out of high school. Incredibly fast hands, and like I said with Cam Collier, the ball flies off of his bat. I mean, it just explodes off of there. He's a physical specimen. That being said, he is a really, really good hitter, crazy strong. The dude has a chance to be an MVP all-star type player, but Elijah Green, a guy who could maybe be the future outfielder filling in for Juan Soto, I really do like this pick for the Nats. Coming in at number 3, Pittsburgh Pirates first round pick, Termarr Johnson. Second baseman, went to Mays High School in Georgia. Termarr had the best hit tool in the entire draft, essentially. His bat speed is insane. His hands are crazy fast, and he uses his lower half almost better than anyone I've seen in this draft. He crushes baseball, loud contact. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but somehow he has a long swing that is unbelievably short. While his size doesn't jump off the page like some of the other prospects I've mentioned, Termarr Johnson's sheer ability at the plate makes him one of the best players in this entire draft alone. The dude will always hit. Just missing out on the number 1 spot, at number 2, the number 1 overall pick by the Baltimore Orioles, shortstop out of Stillwater High School in Oklahoma, Jackson Holliday. I'm so in on Jackson Holliday. I love this as the number 1 overall pick if you're not going with DRUW Jones. I mean, he was my number 2 ranked player. Looking at some clips of him, it's hard to understand why he went this high, but if you find clips from this past season, you would see that Jackson Holliday has beefed up in size, and he's changed his swing a lot. The ball is now jumping off his bat with a new, taller stance than you saw in his younger years. He's got incredibly quick hands. He's very controlled at the plate, and his bat-to-ball skills are among the best in the entire class. He's just become an overall better player in this last year, son of former All-Star Matt Holliday. Some of Matt Holliday's former teammates even said seeing Jackson Holliday swing as a toddler, they knew that this kid was going to be special, and boy, were they right. He was the number 1 overall pick and my number 2 ranked player of the draft in the first round. Because coming in at number 1, in my opinion, a generational type talent is going to be DRUW Jones, outfielder out of Wesleyan in Georgia. DRUW Jones is like so sick. He's so cool. Son of Andrew Jones, who I think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. DRUW Jones could be on a very similar path, which I know it's a lot to say for an 18, 19-year-old kid who hasn't played a single pitch of professional baseball. But you watch DRUW Jones play and you go, huh, yeah, he's really good. Fast hands. Awesome mechanics with a really just pretty looking right-handed swing. He's also got the really cool, massive projectable size where he's 6'4" and 180 pounds. You got to imagine he's only going to get stronger, which means he's going to hit the ball harder. He might run a little bit faster, and he might just be a better player because of that strength. Like, imagine when he just starts lifting weights. He's also an awesome athlete with a great glove, a great arm, great player, great family, great pedigree, great swing, great exit velos. Generational type player. DRUW Jones is my 1-1, no doubt. Diamondbacks, what a pick. You're so lucky he fell to you. I'm so in on DRUW Jones. So there it is, my rankings for the first round picks of the 2022 MLB Draft Draft, Drew Jones number 1, Elijah Green, Termarr Johnson, Cam Collier, Jackson Holliday. This draft was absolutely loaded in my opinion. I would love to know who you guys think is the best player in this draft, or maybe even a guy who's a little under the radar. Let me know in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc, links in the description, and again, big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. That's where I'll wrap it up, guys. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you maybe in like tomorrow at some point for a sleeper video, and then we're gonna grade teams and so much more draft stuff. Keep an eye out. Peace.